Hey folks, James Downs with Downs Family Bullies on our lunchtime catfish challenge. Well, in the process of all this, I am eating lunch. All right, going over a couple things today. I got to reline my pole. I got a new pole in from Whisker Seeker. Let's go over that real quick. This is a Chad Ferguson signature series. This thing's 9.5 foot long. I can get a little more whip out of this than I can the old Zipco rod or whatever it is I got on this other catfish pole. This thing's enormous. I got it to fish with out in the Mississippi River. That way I can launch my baits a little further, get a little deeper. We're gonna reline my pole, but in the process, I'm gonna talk to you about something that somebody swung by the house the other day and dropped something off and said, "Hey, try this." I did. I've heard of it and never actually used it. Well, I finally got a chance to use it, and I cooked a couple things with it. But it's called Hoover Sauce. Never had a Hoover Sauce. It's listed as they call it a marinade. It's a marinade slash barbecue sauce. This ain't nothing like barbecue sauce, but it's from Louise, Mississippi. It's a family down there that makes it. This stuff makes for some fine cooking. But me being me, what I did with it was put it on some fish. Not baked fish. I fried it. We marinated it. We cut some catfish up into some chunks and little bite-sized chunks and marinated it for a couple of hours. And then we took our regular fish fry batter that we batter our fish in, and you want to make sure you don't have a whole lot of it on the fish. This stuff is pretty strong and it does real good. Jalapeno poppers from Church's Chicken, I recommend them. But this stuff's really good. We baked up a batch of it on some chicken previously, and it did real good on the chicken. But we just marinated the chicken, put it in the oven, baked it, done. It was fantastic. I said, you know what? I tried to look on the internet for some fish recipes, because this stuff's been around for a while. I just never had a chance to use it, and couldn't find anything. I said, well, I'll tell you what. Me being from Mississippi, we fry everything. I battered it up and fried it after we marinated it. That stuff is fantastic. It's got a it's a soy sauce base. I ain't even gonna stand here and try to figure out what the rest of it is. It's kind of sweet, kind of tangy, kind of salty with the soy sauce. It's fantastic stuff. But anyway, all you gotta do is you can Google it and look it up. They got a Facebook page. When you Wikipedia and look up Louise, Mississippi, they even talk about old Hoover Sauce in Louise, Mississippi. But everybody around Mississippi knows about it, but I don't know who all else is aware of, Hoover Sauce. But it's real good on beef too. It's been on there's a guy using it, Andrew Zimmern, on one of his shows. It was on there, and there's several articles been written on it. Like I said, stuff's been around for a long time, but it's based around a lot of the media coverage and stuff. It's folks that came to Mississippi and discovered it. It hadn't really been distributed, across the country. So anytime somebody new comes to Mississippi and talk about Hoover Sauce, it's new to them, even though it's been around here for years. But fantastic stuff, made in Louise, Mississippi. I highly recommend the stuff. You can put it on literally anything. What I think I'm gonna do this Thanksgiving is cooking the turkey. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and put a little bit of Louisiana hot sauce in there with it, spice it up a little bit, and I'm gonna use it as a injection in the turkey come Thanksgiving. So that ought to be fantastic. But I'm telling you, it was really good on chicken. And I'm gonna do a few more things on it, and we'll get to some recipes and stuff if we got time. But it's really good, and it's not just good by itself; it's good as a base too. So you can add to it, take away from it, whatever you want to do to it. But really good stuff. Louise, Mississippi. Check it out. It's on the internet. You can buy it same size bottle as a barbecue sauce bottle. I think it was 13 something a bottle, but man, a bottle lasts a long time. It's not like regular barbecue sauce. Just check it out. It's really good stuff. Anyway, back to fishing. I'm going to. We were fishing in the Sunflower River the other day, and I'm gonna take my old zip. Come on now. I'm swapping this pole out for the new pole. But we were catfishing in the Sunflower River, and I like these. You can buy these at Walmart, but they kind of float like this, and when something hits it, they jiggle. Because we was sitting there doing more talking than fishing, and that way you ain't got to pay attention to your line every second. So I like these things. Just for the rattle noise they make. I mean, anybody can put a bobber on there, but the way this thing's made, it's got 4 beads on it, it's got the little lead weight, automatically pops it up, and it just starts jiggling. I don't know if you can hear that with the cars going by, but like I said, on my lunch break, most of the time I'm fishing here on the Yazoo River, and right up under a bridge, because there's about a 1/4 mile in either direction that I can go to, and it's a good spot to just jump out and just go fishing. I'm gonna put that there, and I'm gonna keep this leader, and I'm gonna use this on what I'm about to do. We're gonna reel this in, and this is the Abu Garcia 6500 reel. This is my workhorse of most of the fishing that I do. Now I've got lighter poles and stuff like that I use for bait fishing, and I've got some older rods that I use, but when we go out to the Mississippi River, if I'm going to catch something with some weight on it, this is what I'm trying to catch them on. Because it's got the gears in it, and it's got the oomph behind it to pretty much whatever you catch, it's going to jerk it on in. Like I said, Whisker Seeker, I don't know if you can, here we go. I don't know if you can read that or not. Chad Ferguson edition. This sucker is long. I can get some torque on the end of it. And this one right here would throw for a country mile. We out there in the river, I can chunk this out there where the barges run around at. If I can get it to hook up. All right, I had encountered some technical difficulty, but if you can see. Bring it back up. It's got the Whisker Seeker etched in there. It's a neat little design. Take the butt of it, slide it into your seat. Take that, slide it over the top. Now this thing's all metal right through here. This ain't none of that plastic stuff, but you screw the first nut down, and you're gonna get it set in there good, and screw the second nut down. That way you don't get any slack in there. That's in there now. Click your button. We got Gotta run that back through. There we go. Alrighty. We're gonna run this joker through here. Lord, I'm gonna be half out of line before I get it through the pole. But it's got the solid eyelets in here. Really nice rod, really nice rod. At the time of recording, these are right under $100. So it's not an insanely expensive rod. I mean, as far as rods go, because I mean, you get a heck of a nice rod. But it's an S-glass composite. That's what it is. 9 foot 6 inches long, heavy power, fast action, and it's rated for anywhere from 10 to 50 pound. So it's as far as fishing goes, man, you ain't gonna need nothing else in this. And you just think, I'm gonna get another one for a little bit lighter action. I got a crappie pole that I've been needing to replace. And I'm gonna be honest, I think what I'm gonna do is buy another one of these, because the weight on it is a lot lighter than what it looks. I mean, it's a big old pole. It's not heavy. But I'm gonna show this. They sell these at Walmart in the craft section. I've got my weights, I've got my swivels, I've got my beads, everything I need right here. My entire tackle box, other than a few things, I could really put in one of these. So when I'm walking and we're doing creek fishing and stuff, I take one of these, set it up, put it in my back pocket, and that's my whole tackle box. We're gonna set up right now for a Carolina rig. That's about the only setup I use. If I can get the bead out. Let me set this right here. Don't put them in your mouth, you might swallow them. Run that weight through, just like so. And then you run your bead through. Just like it. The bead protects your knot that you're about to put on the swivel. Give me a little more. Give me a little more line out. There we go. Man, it's hot out here today. But you got you. I'm putting 3-ounce egg sinkers on here, and then I got my bead. Next thing is your swivel. We got an ambulance coming over the top of our head right now. I'm gonna wait a minute. All right, there he goes. All right, the way I put these on is with a Palomar knot. I go through and then back through. I'm gonna have to give me some more line to work with here. Give me just a second, folks. There we go. Now we're cooking with Crisco. All right, you run that back through there. A lot of people will pinch that line and run it through. I don't, because it causes a kink in your line. But what you do is, let me get up here so we can see. That's what we're looking at. Got my leader line there. Now, just like that. Now what we're gonna do is make a loop and pull it back through. Now all we did was really make an old knot with it. Just make a loop knot. And now we're gonna take this tag, this right here, and I'm gonna pinch my swivel and pull it through there. Now, we're gonna pull a little and we're gonna pull this all the way through. We may have to lube it up a little bit here and a little bit there. Well, tarnation. We're gonna pull it. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling my tag in and then my main line and tightening this knot up. Just had to lube it up a little bit, get it moving. Pull, and then pull, and then pull. And then there we go. Alrighty. And in the process of that, you want to make sure there's 2 loops that come right up under there. Make sure they're not crisscrossed. That way, what they'll do is sometimes if you get big enough fish and they're crisscrossed, it'll cause a pressure point and the line will actually cut itself. Make sure they're side by side, just like that. Now we're gonna cut our tag end off after we pull it one more time and I feel good about it. Because 20, 30 pound fish, I've jerked them on in and I really don't worry too much about them. Anything, you know when you got a big one, and the last thing I won't have to worry about is, oh Lord, what kind of knot did I tie on there? Or how did I tie it on there? Did I half it up? Got about maybe almost 1/4 of an inch left out of it. That way if it does have any slack and the fish is big enough, it's not gonna pull through that little bit. I know it doesn't look like much, but that's more than enough right there. That's plenty of tag in. Now, next thing's gonna be your hook. Now I've snail knotted this one. It was already snail knotted on the other pole. But I've got a video on, get out of here, Bumblebee. I got a video on how to snail a hook. I'll link it down in the description. But same thing right here. I'm gonna go back through and we're gonna do another Palomar knot and attach this hook to this side of the swivel. And same thing, you just want to loop it over, and then you want to take that loop and then run your hook through that. That's it. It ain't a whole lot to it. And what I normally do is just pull till it starts getting snug, and then I'll lube it up. And we pull it and pull it. Make sure they ain't crisscrossed over each other. And these hooks are big enough you can put your finger in there without the hook actually grabbing your finger. And I'll pinch this, pinch the swivel and pull the hook and make sure everything's tight. Clip it down to about 1/4 of an inch. And there we go. That is Carolina rig. Like I said, got 3 ounce weight on there, egg sinker. And see how that bead does? It keeps that weight from just slamming metal into your knot. That way the lead don't, weaken it up, and then you get a big fish and you done half cut your line with your own dang weight. But that's it, folks, right there. Now, I have in the past, here lately, really, the rivers are running so shallow right now in the summertime. What I'm doing is, to keep from fishing dead on the bottom, I've been taking a small cork and putting about halfway down my leader line, and I'll take that cork and actually cut it in half. It's a little foam cork, and cut it half in 2 and just put it about midways. That way this isn't sitting dead on the bottom. That way we're getting some ways up, because the fish right now are a little elevated in some of the rivers we're fishing in, because right here in the Yazoo, I mean, it's plenty deep right here, but if we're fishing in the Sunflower River, the Quiver River, or anything like that, we're fishing anywhere from 8 to 3 foot of water. It just depends on where you're at. So I try to get that leader line, and what I'll do is, this will actually be about 18 inches long at that point in those rivers, and that seems to be working a little better for us. But like I said, you can put a whole cork, depends on the weight. You don't want to put a cork big enough to float your weight, and the bait too. But I've been taking them and just cutting them in half and just put a little peg float in there, just it does fine. That way it's enough to get the bait up off the bottom, and it seems to be working a little better this time of year. Now in the wintertime may be different. In the wintertime we do more we take pool noodles and make floats out of them, and we do a little better with the pool noodles. That way they're big enough and buoyant enough that when the fish bite, it sets the hook, because just about every rig I've got, except for my bait rig, I fish with circle hooks. I know a lot of people complain about them, they have problems with them. I'm not one of those people. I do really good with circle hooks. They've always done good with me. Maybe them folks need to watch a couple of my videos and learn how to fish with a circle hook. I don't know. Maybe their daddy didn't teach them how to fish right. I don't know. But we're going to tighten that up. And I think we have just about spent most of this lunch break here running my mouth. I like this pole. And it don't weigh a ton. That's all right. Chad Ferguson edition, Whisker Seeker. Y'all go get you one. But that's about the only tackle I really use. Anything I can get from Whisker, oh, and it's got the little hook thing on the back too, see, hooks you hook. But anything I can buy from Whisker Seeker, that's where I get it from. Never had a problem out of them. Everything I have ever got from them is top-notch quality. I highly recommend it. That cork grip feels good too. That's a nice pole. Like I said, I just got it, and I can't wait to get to the river with this joke. All right, well, I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm finna go fishing. This is James Downs with Downs Family Bullies. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all have a good one.